Start with the Mangalacharan prayer.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Om Ajnana Timirandasya.
Om Ajnana
We can chant it together. These prayers we know, so we can do it together.
Okay. Om Ajnana Timirandasya. Jnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Yena. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. Stapitam Yena Bhutale. Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam. Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinu Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Today I'll be covering chapter 4 verse 39, 40, 41 and 42. So I'll start with 39.
Yes.
श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानम्
Shraddhavan
लभते ज्ञानं
तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः
तत्पर संयतेन्द्रियः
ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परं शान्तिम्
ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम्
अचिरेण दि अचिरेण अधिगच्छति
अचिरेणाधिगच्छति.
Translation. Shraddhavan, a faithful man, labhate, achieves, jnanam, knowledge, tatparaha, very much attached to, samyata, controlled, indriya, senses, jnanam, knowledge, labdhva, having achieved, param, transcendental, shantim, peace, achirena, very soon, adhigachati, attains. Translation. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Um, uh, in in the earlier verse, in the earlier shlokas, we had seen like Lord Sri Krishna outlines and reconfirms that this knowledge can only be attained by a person who has firm belief in Lord Sri Krishna. And he mentions this over here as well. Uh, in the earlier shloka also, he mentions that with this knowledge, even the sinful of the sinful person, the most, the person who's committed the most worst sin, even he can cross over the ocean of misery easily with this knowledge. We even saw like also Mataji said yesterday about a karma, like once a person uh, a faith With this knowledge, a person can smoothly flow through the ocean of miseries. And the basic thing over here in the purport that's mentioned is by Srila Prabhupada. The first step to get this knowledge, to attain this platform of transit of attaining the transcendental knowledge, is by simply by chanting the Mahamantra. We can get that. Uh, we can come to that platform where we can start having this faithful belief in God. So this is what is highlighted and mentioned in this shloka. Shloka 40. Agnyascha Shraddhadanascha
अज्ञस्ताश्रद्धदानश्च
Samshayatma Vinashyati
संशयात्मा विनश्यति
Nayam Lokosthina Paro
नायं लोकोऽस्ति न परो
Na Sukham Samshayatmanaha
न सुखं संशयात्मनः
Agyan Agna Agnya, a fool who has no knowledge in standard scriptures. Cha, and Ashraddhadhana, without faith in revealed scriptures. Cha, also Samshaya, of doubt. Atma, a person. Vinashyati, falls back. Na, never. Ayam, in this. Loka, world. Asti, there is. Na, nor. Paraha, in the next life. Na, not. Sukham, happiness. Samshaya, doubtful. Atmana, of the person. Translation: but ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Explanation. Uh, in Srila Prabhupada's puppet, he mentions some humans are like animals. Uh, they don't make an effort to understand the reason behind all this explanation. They don't make any effort. They just live for the sake of living. Some some humans are like they seek proof. Like even they, if we see in this society, even the most educated people that I've come across, when I also try and approach them and tell them about Krishna conscious, they seek proof. Everything they relate to proof, and even if you show them the proof, they say that this is not true, we want more evidence. So for these people to explain about Krishna, explain about all these concepts becomes so difficult, and without this you cannot get them closer towards Krishna, nor can they nor can we help them out in this situation. So this is what is mentioned over here. And like in the earlier sloka, we had seen the importance of guru. So only guru has the power to help somebody to understand this transcendental knowledge. 41. Yoga sanyasta karmanam
योगसन्न्यस्तकर्माणं
jnana sanchina samshayam
ज्ञानसञ्छिन्न संशयम्
atmavant atmavantam na karmani
आत्मवन्तं न कर्माणि
nib- nibadnanti dhananjaya.
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
Yoga, by devotional service in karma yoga. Sanyasta, one who has renounced. Karmanam, the fruits of actions. Jnana, by knowledge. Sanchinna, cut. Samshayam, doubts. Atmavantam, situated in the self. No, never. Karmani, works. Nib- Nibbadnanti, do bind. Dhanam Jaya, O conqueror of riches. Translation: one who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of work, O conqueror of riches. Uh, Krishna again over here emphasizes the importance of transcendental knowledge and how by by having firm faith and attaining this knowledge, everything else becomes perfect in life. Uh, with the help of transcendental knowledge, one is raised to a platform where all doubts in this regards are cleared. He starts to understand his constitutional position and his primary duty towards the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. 42. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam
तस्मात् अज्ञानसम्भूतं
ritastam ज्ञानसीनात्मनः
हृत्सं संज्ञानसिनात्मनः
चित्वैनं संशयं योगम्
चिद्वैनं संशयं योगम्
अतिहो तिष्ठ भारतः
आतिष्ठोतिष्ठ भारत
तस्मात् therefore अज्ञान sambhutam, born of ignorance, ritta ritastham, situated in the heart, jnana, of knowledge, asina, by the weapon, atmana, of the self, chitva, cutting off, enam, this, samshayam, doubt, yoga, in yoga, atishta, be situated, uttishta, stand up to fight, bharata, o descendant of Bharata. Translation: therefore the doubts which have arisen in your heart of in in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. Uh, after giving all this knowledge to Arjuna, about explaining him about the transcendental knowledge and how he can attain it, Krishna now gives option to Arjuna and asks him to stand and fight and follow the righteous way. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Would anybody like to add anything? Okay. So, text 39, Krishna says, Shraddhavallabhate jnanam tatpara samyatindriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhikachati. So here, what is the jnanam that Krishna is actually talking about? It came up just a few verses before this. Does anyone remember? Would you like to just...
The knowledge of one's constitutional position
Yes, yes. Very good.
as eternal servitor of the Lord.
Yes, yes. And the result of that is, if you look at verse 35, Krishna says, Yajñatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava येन भूतान्यशेषाणि द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि. So he says, after knowing this, after obtaining this kind of knowledge, you will never fall into illusion. What is that illusion?
Maya.
So he explains that by saying, for by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but a part of the Supreme, or rather that they are mine. Which means we begin to see who we truly are, who everyone truly is. That we are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord Himself. And we begin to see our constitutional position vis-a-vis the Supreme Lord. That is the knowledge that we are supposed to get at the end of this whole process. So in 39, Krishna is giving the qualification of who can attain such knowledge. So the qualifications are Shraddhavan, that you have to have Shraddha. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. He achieves that knowledge. So yesterday, if you remember, we talked about the Munayaha. Remember? We said Shraddhavan, Munayaha, and so there are three qualities. One, you have to have faith. Second, you have to be a Muni. And third, you have to have the knowledge as received from a guru. Right? Now here we have the same, almost the same qualities that are required. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Now he gets the jnanam. Where does he get it from? Jnana does not grow on trees. So he has to approach a guru. So again, Shruti. Yeah? You have to approach a guru and get that knowledge. Then you have to have faith in that knowledge. Because if you do not have faith, that is talked about in the next verse. So you have to have faith. What is the faith? That by doing Nishkama Karma Yoga, my knowledge will come. And by following this process, my goal is assured for me. Rupa Goswami says this is confidence in the process. We have to have confidence and we have to have patience. So this is part of the confidence in the process. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Then there is a second quality that is required. Tatparaha. Tatparaha. Tatparaha means one who so Madhusudana Saraswati, he has a very interesting way of putting it. He says, so you have a Shraddhavan, one who believes in that knowledge, who completely accepts it from the Guru. But then he might be a total lazy bum who's just not interested in doing anything. He believes it, but he's not going to get up and do anything about it. So that means you have to be tatpara. Tatpara means what? You have to be diligent in your service. You have to be up and get up and go. Diligent in the service of Guru, diligent in the service of the learning. Okay. So, okay, you have Shraddhavan, you have Tatpara. But then such a person may not be able to control his senses. So you have the third quality, Samyatendriyaha, which yesterday we learned as Muni, somebody who can control his senses. So as you can see, both those verses, yesterday's verse and today's verse, are kind of going side by side. They're coinciding quite a bit. So you need somebody who can control his senses. Then what happens? Jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. Achirena. Chiram means long time. Achirena means not long time. very quickly. So by following this process very quickly, such a person obtains knowledge, and because of that knowledge, he obtains Shanti, peace. The next verse, text 40, Krishna tells us who will not attain this knowledge. So he says, Agyas cha ashraddhadhanas cha shamshayatma vinashyati. So there are three categories spoken of here. Agnya, ashraddhadhana, and shamshayatma. Okay. Of the three, you can see there is a cha after agnya and ashraddhadhana. So again, Madhusudana Saraswati says that those two are not so important. So they've said agya cha, ashraddhadhana cha, they've added them in. But samshayatma vinashyati. The emphasis is on the complete destruction of one who has doubts. Samshayatma. So let's see what's the difference between an agya, ashraddhadhana, and samshayatma. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says agya means foolish, like an animal. And that's what Prabhupada also says, and Prabhuji also just said. So agya means one who is foolish like an animal. He does not have any knowledge, and he does not have any interest in the knowledge also. He does not want to study. He does not want to approach a guru. He's happy just doing his own thing. Agya, just no knowledge. Ashraddhadhanaha refers to one who has knowledge of the scriptures but does not have faith in any siddhanta or philosophy because he cannot reconcile the contradictions between the various philosophers. So Ashraddhadhana is someone who knows the scriptures but is very confused. He does not have faith because he's confused. He doesn't know what is happening. Where should I put my faith? The scripture talks about, for instance, it talks about Brahman, it talks about Paramatma, it talks about Bhagavan. I can do this also, I can do that also. You remember that joke? Kaju bhi hai, badam bhi hai. It's a bit like that poor mouse. Huh? Kaju bhi hai, badam bhi hai, gala kat gaya. So, Ashraddhadhana, he doesn't know which way to go. And he has no fervor. He does not have that drive to go and get his doubts clarified. So he continues. He believes, oh yes, yes, whatever is said in the Bhagavad Gita is all perfectly correct. But what does it mean? I am confused. Then comes the third, Samshayatma. Show me Krishna exists. Show me that after I die, I am born again. Show me I have Atma. How many religions believe in Atma? Christianity, for instance, does not believe in the soul for animals. It says soul is only for human beings. And that too, what is the soul? They have no concept. They don't understand what is the soul. So, a Samshayatma is you tell him and he goes, maybe, maybe not. You have a soul. You are the soul. Oh, I don't really believe in that. How can that be? So, Samshayatma, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, means one who, despite having faith, still doubts whether his efforts will become successful. That is one kind of samshayatma. The second kind of samshayatma is he doubts everything, the existence of this world. He doubts that there is liberation after death. He doubts that by doing something I can get happiness. He said, Are bhai, go to the temple, bow down, you'll find some peace, you'll find some happiness. Oh, here in this world I'll find happiness? Nah, not possible. How can there be happiness if I do this? Doubts about everything. So he may even go to the extent, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, he may go to the extent of having faith, but still doubts himself. He'll go to the extent of having faith in the scriptures, faith in the Guru, but he will doubt himself. Will I be successful? Is it possible that I can be successful? I don't think I can be successful. Are chodo. All this is a waste of time. I know I'm never going to be successful. So such a person, because he's so filled with self-doubt, can never succeed in anything in life. So, samshayatma vinashyati. And vinashyati where na ayam loko asti na paro, na sukham samshayatmanaha. Not in this world, not in this lifetime, not in his next lifetime. He's not going to get any happiness, any sukha. Does that make sense? Yes.
I had a question.
Yes.
These three types of pravrittis, should we call them that, which you were just explaining, where do they come from? I mean, why is it that some people have that inborn faith and some have the doubt and some are beyond that and just not interested? So is it the influence of the modes of nature? Is it the past karma of that particular entity? Because we do come across people who have these varying traits in them.
That's right.
So what's the origin of these?
The answer to all your questions is yes. So you asked, is it past karma? Yes. Is it the modes of nature? Yes. So now somebody who has faith, that person has actually done some good deed in their past. Now, it might even be what is called ajnata sukriti. So you could have done sukriti knowingly. Knowingly doing sukriti means you're doing some good deed knowingly. And it could even have been bhakti in the past life, right? Or you may not have been a bhakta at all. But let us say you were going somewhere and there was a bhakta who was next to you who tripped and you just put out your hand and held him. Krishna sees that as you having done a huge, big service to a bhakta. And that means ajnata sukriti. Ajnata means you don't know about it. You did it because you just happened to be there and that's just your instinct. You see somebody, you put your hand out. You weren't even thinking about it. So these are the people who do not have any ajnata sukriti. Now the second way of coming onto the path of bhakti, getting this kind of knowledge and everything is the mercy or the compassion that is shown by another bhakta. So bhaktas, we'll see that in the Bhagavatam a little later. Bhaktas are called tirthas, tirthapada. Tirthapada means they carry, you know, we go to tirthas, we go to Vrindavan, Kashi Tirtha, Ganga Tirtha, we go to different tirtha sthal bolte hai na, where you go there and all your sins are washed away. Now, the Vaishnavas are called Tirthapadas. Why? Because they carry the Lord in their heart. So, when they are going by, and if they just look at, let us say they look at one of these foolish like an animal person, they just look upon him and say, poor thing, oh Krishna, please help this fellow. Krishna has no choice. He's bound because this is such a great devotee. So this is called causeless mercy of a devotee. There is no reason for this person to feel merciful. There's no connection between the two jivas. But he just looks at that person and says, Krishna, help. Or that person or the sadhu may say, come on, my child, get up, chant Hare Krishna just once, chant, chant. The person doesn't chant, but just the word Hare Krishna goes into his ear. Now, Aditya Prabhu said, there really is no way to help these people. That's not quite right. Because the ways to help these people is, first, chanting. So when they hear the name, then itself that path starts to clear up for them. Let us assume by mistake or as an insult even, they say the word Krishna or one of God's names. It clears the path. If they are fed prasadam, that is the biggest way, the best way. Because everybody likes good food, tasty food. And you cannot deny that prasadam is so tasty. Prasadam distribution. So if somebody has, let us say, you know, we do all this, don't we? There is a birthday in the family. So we donate some money in the temple. We don't think too much about it. Some people, they're not into big puja and all that. You tell them, they'll say, nah, I don't believe in chanting. I don't have time for all that. I don't believe in puja. Oh, but it's my my husband's birthday, so here I'll donate money in the temple, and that can be used for feeding the poor or feeding. Prasadam distribution, agyata sukriti. What have you just done? You have fed prasadam to so many living entities who do not know about the Lord. By having that prasadam, they are coming closer to the Lord, which makes the Lord very happy with you. So in so many little ways, a soul can come closer to the Lord. But yeah, why that happens to some and not to others is a question which is very difficult to answer. We really can't point a finger and say, oh, this is their karma, or oh, this is, this is who they are. And yeah. And yeah, in some cases, it's just habit. They just won't do it. Like one of the Ashraddha characteristics is quarrelsome person. So remember we said when you approach a guru, it should be submissively, not challengingly. You will find a lot of people come, ki abhi chalo, let's have a good fight. The reason they are there is because, chalo, let's have a good fight. Let's chabi maro here and see what happens. it is just their nature. It's just their nature. You know, you come across but that's again the three modes. And this is habit. How do the three modes affect us? Through our habits. The more we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we are making that particular mode stronger. And that leads to avashaha. For doing something and you can't help it. So Sujata Mataji, sorry you dropped out for a bit.
I'm so sorry, Mataji. My internet just there
I
was a
know.
problem, and I just missed that little.
No,
white
so we
bits.
were talking about Ashraddha Dhana.
At the point where you were saying Aditya Prabhu was saying something, and then that just the link just got disconnected.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, we were talking about how in terms of helping such people, you can help them through, giving prasadam, just chanting the name so that they can hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we also said about Ashtadhana, for instance, some people, they are quarrelsome by nature. The only reason they'll come and sit in a katha is so that they can ask some challenging questions at the end of it to prove that they know better, or to prove that you are inferior, whatever their reasons may be. But that comes again from practice. That's just what they've done all their life. And so, that's how the mode of material nature catches them, because that's their practice. Does that make sense?
Thank you, Mataji.
No problem. Any other questions there? Okay. So the next verse. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchhinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. Jnana sanchhinna samshayam. So doubts have been cut to pieces by knowledge. Jnana sanchinna. And yoga sanyasta karmanam. Remember in the second chapter, verse 48, Krishna, what does he say? Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. He gives the definition of yoga. He says, Yogastha kuru karmani. Be situated in yoga and do all your work. Oh, but what do you mean be situated in yoga? Oh, the definition of yoga is siddhi asiddhayoho. Whether you're successful or you're not successful, samo bhutva. Be sama. Be equipoised. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So that kind of equipoised nature is called yoga. So yoga sanyasta karmanam. So being equipoised. Being equipoised means what? I'm not attached to the result. When do I get agitated? When I look at something and say, I expected this to happen, but it has not happened. This is good, this is bad. Duality. So when I am in duality, I cannot be in yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate, which means I have given up the results of my action. And the moment I give up results of my action, what am I doing? I am working for the Lord. So when I do that, Atmavantam na karmani. There is no doubt about Atma. There's no doubt about who I am and who he is. He is the Param Atma, the Supreme Person. I am an Anu Atma. And I belong to him as his Das. So, Atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. Karmani na nibadnanti. At that time, the actions don't bind. Obviously, they don't bind because I'm saying I don't want the results. I'm Sama. Whatever happens, I'm doing my duty. Whatever the result, I'm not interested in the result. Krishna says, Yat karoshi yad ashnasi yad juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kanteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Every morning, wake up and say, now we've learned Sanskrit, right? Convert this into a prayer. How will you convert it into a prayer? Yad karomi yad ashnami yad juhomi dadami yat tapasyami govinda tat karomi tava arpanam. Simple. Yad karomi, whatever I'm doing today, my Lord. I wake up in the morning, whatever I do. Yad karomi, yad ashnami, whatever I eat. Yad juhomi, whatever I give. Whatever I offer. Dadami, yat, whatever I give away. Yat tapasyami, whatever tapasya I do. There he says, Yat tapasyasi kaunteya. Here you just go, Yat tapasyami govinda tat karomi tava arpanam. I'm doing it for you. This is called cheating. You take his own words and you give it back to him. Isn't it? Yeah. Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to say, everything I do, Krishna, I'm doing for you. Initially, we don't even remember to say it, let alone mean it. But at least we can start by saying this on a routine basis. Wake up first thing in the morning, say this. Whether we mean it or not is different. We start by saying it. One day it'll go in. One day we'll mean it. One day we'll mean it at least for one task that we did. And here I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about you all. I'm talking about myself because I don't remember. Yat karomi yad ashnami yad jomi dadami yad tapasyami govinda tat karomi tava arpanam. Kripaya swikarotu. Yeah. So these actions will not bind. And then the last verse he says, Tasmat. Oh, this is such a favorite word of the Lord. Almost all the last verses in Bhagavad Gita will go, Tasmat. Therefore, Kaunteya. Therefore, Bharata. Therefore, Dhananjaya. He's always calling Arjuna to do something. So he says, Tasmat ajnana sambhutam hritstam. Okay. Ajnana sambhutam hritstam. So, sambhutam, born of ajnana, ignorance. Where is that sitting? It is sitting in the heart. Hrit stham. It is sitting in the heart. What should you do to it? Jnana asina atmanah chitvainam samshayam. That samshaya, which is born of ignorance, is sitting in the heart, cut it to pieces with the sword of jnana, knowledge. Yogam atishta uttishta Bharata. Come on, Arjuna, get up, stand up, fight. It's a call to action. Get up, uttishta. You can stand up now, get up and fight. But does Arjuna get up and fight? No. He has more questions. See, this is the mercy of the Lord. He could go, I am the Supreme Lord. I'm telling you, get up and fight. And you're just sitting there going, I have one more question. What's wrong with you? Right? Instead, what does the Lord say? Well done. You are my friend. You are my devotee. You're not envious of me. And so I will tell you more. The Lord is the best teacher. He never gets impatient. And at the end, he tells Arjuna, okay, now think about what I've told you. Asheshena. Vimarsheta dasheshena. And then, yatechasik tata kuru. Whatever you want, you do. So he's again not saying, I am the Supreme Lord, I told you all this. And now you're saying you don't want to do it? There's no free will. Do what you like. When you love somebody, you do not force them. And the Lord loves us. He doesn't force us. He gives us free will. Do what you like. So here, as Guru to Arjuna, he's saying, get up, fight. And Arjuna, a student, is sitting there going, I have one more doubt. So we'll see that next time. Any questions? Okay. Okay. So shall we do a little quiz? Okay. So I haven't put anything down on screen for you. So it's just a set of questions I've got. And like I was telling earlier, these are questions which I asked my kiddie class. They are aged between the ages of 4 and 8. So they got it all correct. So that is your competition, okay? Okay. Who can give me some different names of Balarama?
Balbhadra.
Balabhadra, very nice. What does that mean?
Farmer? No.
Sorry?
Is it farmer? No.
No. Balabhadra. So Subhadra. Yes, Sandhya Mataji?
Brother of Subhadra.
That's a good one. Nice try. Yes, Vidushi.
Sankarshana.
Okay, I want the meaning of Balabhadra first. Yeah.
The one who has much bala.
Yeah, and Bhadra means?
Auspiciousness.
Yes, auspicious. So one whose strength is very auspicious. Or one who is very strong and auspicious. Okay. You were saying Sankarshana.
Sankarshana.
What does that mean?
Who was taken from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini Mata?
Yes, one who was taken from the womb of Devaki and put in the womb of Rohini. Now, why is it called Sankarshana? The word Sankarshana means, Sam means Samyak, okay, means good. And Karshana means to attract. So why is he called Sankarshana?
I heard this in some lecture, but I can't remember. He was attracted from the womb of the to look like her.
Mataji, I think it is like he brought the families together.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. He brought the families of Vasudev and Nanda Maharaj together. Yeah, so he's called Shankarshana. Very nice. And now there is another meaning of yes, Ma.
Revati Ramana.
Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute. Huh? There's another meaning of Shankarshana also. In terms of his form, what is the form of Shankarshana? Snake, yes.
Yeah.
That's right, Usha Mataji. It's a snake. Okay, the many-hooded snake. And on his head, he has all the different universes. He's carrying all the universes. And what is he doing all the time? Yeah, bed. Yes. Sorry, Usha Mataji.
Is sheltering Krishna like
Yeah, so he's sheltering him. And what else? Yes, Vidushi?
Service, Mataji. Always serve.
Yes. Service is Balaram's nature. Yeah. So Shankarshana in the form of a snake was seen by the four Kumars when they went down to Patal Loka. He's sitting there. He's always deep in meditation. All the universes are on his heads. He carries all the universes on his heads. And he's also called Ananta because of his many heads. And because through his heads, he's constantly praising Lord Krishna. And because he's constantly praising Lord Krishna, it is said, from his Ananta Mukha, he's saying Ananta Katha. Ananta means infinite. From his infinite mouths, he speaks infinite Katha about Lord Krishna. Okay, very well done. Yeah, he's got many names. Like Mom said, Revati Ramana. There's one more name. What is he called in Vraja? What is he called as Krishna's older brother? Yeah, Dauji. He's called Dauji.
yeah.
Dauji.
And actually also,
What about Baldev, Mataji?
Sorry?
Baldev?
Baladev, yes.
What
Sorry,
does it
Mom,
mean?
what?
Achyuta.
Achyuta, all those are names of Krishna and Balaram. So they are all names of the Supreme Lord. But specific to Balaram, we were saying.
Lakshmana.
Lakshmana, when he comes as Ram's brother. Yes. Yeah. Can we just mute ourselves, please? I've just muted you, Mom, because there's just so much feedback coming. Okay. Okay. Second question. Huh? What is his color? White.
White.
Yeah, everyone got. Oh,
Autumn
okay.
white cloud.
Huh?
Autumn white cloud.
Autumn white cloud. Yes, brilliant. Autumn white cloud. And what is his favorite color? What color does he wear?
Blue.
Blue. Yes. Question, why? Yes, Vidushi?
I heard this in some lecture, Mataji. Because it's Krishna's color, so he wears blue.
Yes. It's the same reason Radharani also wears blue.
Yeah, and Krishna wears yellow.
That's right. Yeah. So, because Krishna's color is blue, Balaram also wears blue always. Okay. What is his favorite drink?
Varuni.
Yes, it's pronounced Varuni.
Varuni.
Varuni. Varuni is the daughter of Varuna. Because when the Samudra Manthan was happening, at that time she comes out. She is the goddess of liquor. Or she is actually the goddess who controls drunkards. So the drunks actually do have a guardian angel. Yeah. So that's in the chapter of Samudra Manthan. It comes up.
Mataji, I ask
Yes.
you about the color. Today, Deva Amrita Swami says something about Krishna, Balram turning into bluish. Is it because when he gets angry?
I don't know that. I guess he would turn bluish when he's focusing very intently on the Lord, because a lot of times what happens is when so firstly we have to understand that Balarama is an expansion of Lord Shri Krishna himself. Na? So Prabhupada calls them the 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 servitor personality of Godhead and the served personality of Godhead. So the served personality of Godhead, the served Bhagavan is Krishna. And the servant or the servitor Bhagavan is Balarama. So Balarama is an energy of Lord Shri Krishna himself. And so Lord Krishna expands as Balarama, and Balarama then serves Lord Krishna in the form of everything. All his paraphernalia, his clothes, his slipper, his seat, his umbrella, his chamara, his fan, everything, everything. In fact, when we do Aarti at our homes, we have to know that the thali that we use, the table that we have our deities on, everything is considered to be an expansion of Balaram. And that is how we should treat everything, with that much faith and with that much respect. The mridanga is considered a form of Balarama. So all the instruments that we use, the kartal, is considered a form of Balaram. So anything that is used in the service of Lord Shri Krishna is a form of Balaram. Okay. Next. What is the name of his wife?
Revati.
Revati. Mom actually said that earlier. Revati Ramana. So, what is the story of Revati? Who remembers? How do they get married?
She's the daughter of King Kakudumi.
Kakudbhumi, yeah, Kakudmi, or Raivata.
Revata.
That is why her name is Revati. His name is Raivata. Okay, so the story goes that Revati had to be married off, and her father wanted only the best for her. So he decides to go and ask Lord Brahma. He says, who should marry my daughter? Now this is in the Satya Yuga. Okay, this is all happening in Satya Yuga. So he goes to Brahma, and at that time, Brahma asks Raivata. He says, "Oh, why have you come here?" He says, "Oh, my daughter needs to get married, so I came to ask you who is the best person for her." Brahma says the best person for her is Balarama, and currently he is on earth, because on earth it's already Treta Yuga. You came up here when it was Satya Yuga, and now it's Treta Yuga. So come, I'll take you down, and I'll introduce you to Balarama. So they go down. And Revati happens to be incredibly tall. Why? Because in Satya Yuga, the height of people is very, very tall. And then Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and now Kali Yuga. Yeah. So in Treta Yuga, Balramji is not very tall. And here you have Revati towering over him. So Brahmaji tells Balaram, says, this is your wife. Balaram goes, this? Okay. And he takes out his plow, puts it on her head like that, and just pulls her down like that. So he brings her down to his height. So Revati is Lord Balaram's eternal consort. His wife, always his wife. Okay. Now, can you name some demons that he killed? Yeah, well, turn your mic on, Vidushi.
Dhenukasura, Pralambasura.
Very good. And there was one more.
Yes.
He wasn't a demon, but he was the friend of a demon.
Mountains.
Divida.
Yes, Dvivida, correct.
Gorilla.
Gorilla, that's right, mom. Dvivida gorilla. Yeah. So the first he killed was Dhenukasura, who was actually a donkey. Yeah. And he stopped the boys from getting all the fruit from the Talavan tree, from the Talavan forest, the Tala tree. And so how did Balram kill him? That's right. He just twirled him around by his tail and threw him up. And Dhenukasura went and landed on top of the palm tree, yeah, and hung there. So that was Dhenukasura. Pralambasura, what happened there? So Pralambasura came dressed as a small cowherd boy and he joined the boys when they were playing. And then they were playing piggyback, you know. So two teams, they had to carry people on their back and run, and that was the race. So Pralambasura carries Balaram and he runs and he runs and he keeps running and he keeps running and he runs away. And Balaram's going, what's happening? Stop, take me back, take me back. And suddenly he sees this big, huge Rakshasa under him. So Balaram goes, ooh, what's happening? And then he gives him one bonk on the head. And that's the end of Pralambasura. So all pretty simple. Yeah. And Dvivida, he came and he started misbehaving with the gopis. So again, Balaramji just gave him a couple of whacks and that was it. Okay. Now, which sadhu did Balramji kill?
Romaharshana.
Yes, Prabhuji. Romaharshana. We did this in our Bhagavatam class, remember? Yeah, Romaharshana. Okay. And one last question. Do you remember Balram dragged Hastinapur into the Ganga? Why did he do that?
Facilitate Samba's wedding
Yes, with whom?
with Rukmini's. No. With his Duryodhan's daughter.
That is correct. So, because Shamba, who is the son of Krishna, and which wife? Jambavati. That is correct. Jambavati. Yeah. So the son of Krishna and Jambavati, his name is Shamba. He wanted to get married to Duryodhana's daughter, whose name was Lakshmana. Yeah, Lakshmana. So, and Duryodhana didn't want, all that. So then Balramji went there and he said, look, you know us, we are powerful people. Give us your daughter. Duryodhana says, nah, we're not going to do so. So he says, okay, I'll just drag all of Hastinapur and chuck it into the Ganga. That's goodbye to you all. And he actually put his plow and started pulling Hastinapur. So immediately, Bhishma Dev, everybody came running and fell at his feet and said, here, 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 please take Lakshmana and go. Spare us. Yeah. So, yeah. So, hey, pretty good job. Yeah. So, Lord Balaram is the eternal Guru because he is the one who teaches us how to serve Lord Sri Krishna. He comes as Nityananda Prabhu during Gauranga Leela, and there also he performs the same task. So let's pray today to Lord Balaramji and ask him to please not have, for us not to have any ashraddha. So ashraddha dhana, agya, or any samshaya up here for us. Let us always be focused on serving Lord Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare